Biden saying some wild stuff. Trump saying some wild stuff. This is why we can't have nice things. Kanye meddling in the election. And I'm going to give you guys some hope. We're going to give you some hope, some solutions. But before we do that, got to drop the intro.
I don't need nothing else. Every time I'm with you, yo, it's something else. It's a fact, and it's nothing else. Got your hand out, you don't even need a help. Ooh, I don't need nothing else. Every time I'm with you, yo, it's something else. It's a fact, and it's nothing else. Got your hand out, you don't even need a help. Ooh, that's right. I don't need nothing else. That's right.
Been having a fun time doing some of these like reaction type videos, and I figured, you know what, man, it's a lot going on. I'm gonna share my thoughts on some of these things. My goal with all these, just so you guys know, is to hopefully bring us to some type of unity in some regard, and to also add my perspective and give some context to all of you guys who are outliers, all you guys who defy the odds, statistical anomalies, and the politically agnostic. So, Joe Biden, goodness gracious. He was on the news this week. I guess they let him out to do some interviews, and he made some wild statement. Check this clip out. You guys seen this?
But you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community.
What?
With incredibly different attitudes about different things.
Unlike the African American community, the Latino community is a diverse community. He's talking about voters, and he's been on this kicker of, you ain't black if you don't want to vote for me. Now, I have a lot of friends that happen to be black conservatives. I don't identify as a conservative or Republican, but I have a lot of friends that are black conservatives, and I think a lot of them are just tired of being viewed as a monolith, being told to fall in line and vote Democrat. And this man keeps saying these things. He's had that moment with Charlemagne the God on the Breakfast Club, but now it's this. And my man Zuby, shout out to Zuby, changed his Instagram, his Twitter handle to Zuby Notable Exception. Notable exception, because apparently Joe Biden thinks that all black people are going to vote for him, with a few notable exceptions. Wow. Just not a good look. Now, of course, Trump responded to this.
Joe Biden this morning totally disparaged and insulted the black community. What he said is incredible, and I don't know what's going on with him.
Biden's campaign insists he was not suggesting the black community is a monolith, but rather was referring to diversity of attitudes among Latinos when it comes to...
Yo, the best part is that they doubled down. We weren't saying that all black people think the same and they're a monolith. We were just saying that the Mexican community is more diverse in their political... Wait, you just dug your heels in deeper. The campaign dug their heels in deeper. They couldn't think of a more creative way to step around. Wow. Okay. So this is a mess. This is a hot mess. Now check this out. This happened earlier in the week, and it's just been a very bad week for Joe Biden. They seem to have been doing a good job of just kind of keeping him tucked away, but somebody thought it was a good idea for him to go do a bunch of media. It's a tough moment. I'm about to play you guys here, and then I'm going to actually play you how the Trump campaign is tweeting. And by the way, I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm not voting for either of these guys, in case you're wondering. But to me, this is really indicative of why we cannot have nice things as Americans when it comes to politics. There was a ton of more credible, more focused, bigger vision people that were running in the Democratic primaries. And for whatever reason, the DNC decided to back this guy, assuming that he would have a better shot. And I think they just completely dropped the L on the situation. Now check this clip out. This is very hard to watch. I'm going to show you a clip after this. It's even harder to watch.
Election, President Trump has made your mental state a campaign topic. And when asked in June if you'd been tested for cognitive decline, you've responded that you're constantly tested in effect because you're in situations like this on the campaign trail. But
now check this out. Like you see the smile on his face. He knew this was coming. Like they've been prepping him for this question. He knew this was coming. So he knew this was coming. They were prepping him for this question. He is so ready to answer it, and he starts out good, and then it just falls apart. Watch, look at his response. They're talking about the cognitive test that Trump has been claiming he's been acing, and they're asking Biden why has he not taken a cognitive test. This is important, and I'll show you guys why here in a second, but just watch his response.
But please clarify specifically, have you taken a cognitive test?
No, I haven't taken a test. Why the hell would I take a test? Come on, man.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Yo, that line. Why does he always say it? Come on, man. I don't know if he thinks this is funny or what, but just
that's like saying you, before you got in this program, if you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not, what do you think, huh?
He accuses the reporter of what? Come on, man. You take a cocaine test before you got on here? Come on, man.
Are you a junkie?
What do you say?
Are you a junkie?
To President Trump, who brags about his test and makes your mental state an issue for voters?
Well, if he can't figure out the difference between an elephant and a lion, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Did you watch that? Look, come on, man. I know.
Now, I don't know. I'm not gonna cap. I don't know what the elephant and the lion thing is. If you could fill me in on that, I'd appreciate it. I don't know what he's referring to right here, but he's off to a good start. Come on, man. Would you take cocaine test if you know you haven't done cocaine? Come on, man. And all he had to do was say, listen, I take a test every day I'm on the campaign trail. I take a test every day I'm on the campaign trail with the American public. That's all he had to say. He had to just say that and be quiet. Watch what happens after. This is sad.
You're trying to goad me, but I mean, I'm so forward looking to have an opportunity to sit with the president or stand with the president in debates. There's going to be plenty of time. And by the way, as I joke with him, you know, I shouldn't say it. I'm going to say something.
Okay, so okay, it's good. Maybe he's practicing some restraint.
I probably shouldn't say. Anyway, I am very willing to let the American public judge my physical and mental
Oh, and then he stumbles. Now, you might think, hey, it's not that big of a deal. He stumbles, whatever, right? But no, listen.
Physical as well as my mental fitness. Ugh. And to make a judgment about who I am.
That's why we can't have nice things, guys. This is why we can't have nice things. You mean to tell me, out of all the people running on the Democratic ticket, you couldn't find one moderate that could give Trump a running shot out of everybody? This is why we cannot have nice things in America when it comes to politics. It's sad. It's really sad. But what's even more sad is how the Trump campaign, I mean, I don't know if it's sad that they could have done this or that they did do this or that this is actually true, that they found enough of these segments to chop up and show in real time this man's cognitive decline. Check this out.
Economic and foreign policy, this administration has made them better off in the last 8 years. And in addition to that, we have to make sure that we are in a position that we are.
This is brutal, guys. This is 2008 to now. Maybe you don't remember Biden when he was running with Obama in 2008 when he had those debates. But goodness, this is brutal to watch. Let me keep playing it.
We can insure every single solitary kid. We can provide catastrophic health insurance right off the bat. We can do that for the cost of just one thing, the tax cut for people in the top 1%.
And with I don't know.
You got to give them to the.
This is sad. This is like, man, what was the DNC thinking? Propping this, and I think he means well. I think he thinks he's the best guy for the job. But what was the DNC thinking, propping this guy up to run against Trump? The debates are going to be fascinating. Let's just keep watching.
People are going to spend the money. You got to deal with making sure American companies can be competitive, have a health care plan that doesn't put them at a disadvantage when they compete overseas.
There's during World War II, where Roosevelt came up with a thing that was totally different than he called it the.
What happened to Joe Biden? Goodness gracious. They had a campaign of just kind of keeping him tucked away. Now they want him to do interviews. And it's just really, really hard to watch. It's really hard to watch, especially when I kept up with the Democratic primary. And man, you had Andrew Yang, you had Tulsi Gabbard, you had a lot of very fresh faces and energy. And this is who they went with. This is why we can't have nice things. I keep saying it. That right there to me is the finishing move, right? Just you show that ad over and over, you make him look incompetent, and then if Trump is really more cognitively better than him, he'll crush him at the debates, and that's it. But why then make these wild statements to drive it further and further into a divisive standpoint on Trump's part? Check this out.
Would ever think even possible, because he's following the radical left agenda. Take away your gun.
See, listen, I don't know if he's following the radical left agenda as much as he's just kind of, it's like Weekend at Bernie's. But to keep driving a deeper wedge and say radical left, radical left, radical left, to sensationalize these things means that apparently Trump isn't that confident in his own ability to use these kind of divisive language and divisive tactics to try and beat Biden. I don't think this is necessary at all, right? Listen to what he says.
Guns, destroy your Second Amendment, no religion, no anything, hurt the Bible, hurt God.
Destroy your Second Amendment. I can see Biden being more restrictive against guns. I'm a Second Amendment guy. I got a gun. I'm gonna buy more. I like guns. But this whole hurt religion, hurt the Bible, hurt God. No! You don't even need to say that. Listen, this man ethers him with the campaign commercial I just showed you guys. He doesn't need to say anything else. He don't need to talk about hurting God. What are you talking about? He just thought that sounded good in the moment. Like, these are just like, yeah, I'm just gonna say the most outlandish thing. Hurt religion, hurt God, you can't hurt God. What? No. You don't need to say these kinds of things. If you just show the first ad, show up to the debate, crush it, and try and get a hold of this coronavirus thing, that's the path to victory. But to keep pushing these ideological, I'm the law and order candidate who's for the Second Amendment and I'm not going to let him hurt God. These are the tactics that drive us further and further into division. My opinion, but that's what I think. And I think like this whole hurt God, oh my gosh, this is just not. Gosh. All right, now, in other news, apparently Kanye is using some Trump lawyers to get him on the ballots in more states, and Relevant Magazine, shout out to Relevant Magazine, is reporting this as Kanye is an operative for the Trump campaign. I don't know if this is true, but they dropped this article, which I thought was really interesting. Now Kanye is indicating that he's just running to hurt Biden's chances. I don't know how they got that, but there's some speculation and some weird stuff about apparently Kanye using some of the same lawyers to get him on some of the ballots. This week, reports from New York and New York Times all surfaced indicating the last-ditch efforts to get West's name on all state ballots were arranged by the GOP and Trump-affiliated operatives. Even though West is, I don't know what that word is, running against the incumbent as an independent, this sparked speculation that instead of a sincere bid for the White House, Republican operatives were attempting to use West's bid to appeal voters away from Biden in most states. And then, apparently, he's having a discussion with the reporter over text messages. Who does interviews over text message? That's weird. Amid various reports, Republican Trump-affiliated political operatives are trying to get Kanye onto various states. Asked about that directly, West said that rather than running for president, he was walking, quickly adding that he was walking to win. When the reporter pointed out West will not be on enough ballots to secure the necessary electoral votes for actual win, West responded, "I'm not going to argue with you. Jesus is king." Wow. Okay. So if the Trump campaign is really propping up Kanye and gassing him up, or maybe they're saying, hey, you help us win in 2020, we'll help you in 2024. I don't know what's going on. But if that's the case, man, that is kind of janky. And that's a brilliant move on Trump's part. And my natural instinct would be like, listen, we're overestimating Kanye's influence. I don't know if Trump's really out here trying to get Kanye on his side. But then again, man, this man's a thinker. This man's very diabolical with how he competes with people. This wouldn't be that far out of the possibility and realms of what's happening here. So that's just my opinion. And again, listen, my big idea with this is I don't really care where you fall politically. To me, I'll just keep saying it. This is why we can't have nice things. We are in just a mess of what's going on politically. We're in a mess of what's going on with this COVID thing. A lot of these wedges have been driven deeper and deeper and deeper. And I don't know who's going to win this thing. It could go either way. But I don't think that Biden is going to hurt God. And I don't think Trump is going to cause a nuclear war and hit the button on North Korea. I don't think either of those things are going to happen. And I wish we had another option. I really do wish we had another option. I'm sharing all this because I ultimately want you guys to be empowered to control your house. None of us should be stressing out about what's going on in the White House or who gets in the White House. We should be focused on what's going on in our house and the variables that we can control.